What is HR analytics? HR stands for human resource. Humans are people like you and I. Resource are assets in an organization, also known as employees. So we are going to be looking at people working in an organization. The second part is analytics. That is the use of data to solve issues. HR data are typically stored in HR databases known as HR information systems. Let's find out more. What is analytics? We do analytics all the time without even knowing it. Let me give you an example. Say I own a company with 20 employees and I need to select a manager amongst them. We start off with data. These circles represents my employees, which are my data points. Now, I need more information about these employees, so I add some color to them. For example, I get to know their name, their nationality, their experiences, their backgrounds, for example. My data points start to look more interesting now that I have more information about them. Knowledge. What do I know about these employees? Well, I start to make connections. For example, I know that employee A is working on the same project as employee B, and employee C are friends with employee D, or employee E has more experience than employee F, etc. I form knowledge of the relationships between these employees and how they relate or compare with each other. Insights. So if I have a vacancy for a manager position, who would be ideal for the job? I could see that particularly two persons stand out. Perhaps they exhibit the best interpersonal skills or they have the ideal experiences and capability. These require some form of rationalizing and coming up with an outcome backed by evidence. Wisdom. Wisdom is what makes us humans unique. We have the ability to think beyond what data can ever do. It is the ability to draw conclusions based on all the priora, the data, the information, the knowledge, and insights. These are complex brain work. Maybe I should make employee A the manager and keep employee C in the pipeline for succession planning in the next 2 years. That would be optimal planning for my company. And it's going to help me achieve maximum impact and results. So you see, analytics all starts from raw data and it ultimately has the power to impact the business. So where does data analytics stand in the grand scheme of things? In the big realm of artificial intelligence, we have three main pillars. First, we have data mining and software engineering. These are commonly known as IT. Then we have math and statistics, which we all have some form of foundation from our early school years. Lastly, we have the business domain expertise, which in our case is human resource. That's our business domain. Now, in between math and statistics and business domain, that's where data analytics comes in. That is where we analyze using math and statistics the data of the business domain, which is HR. So that's data analytics, analyzing using math on HR data. Now, there are other forms. So, for example, if you have HR knowledge and you combine it with IT, then you have business intelligence analytics. So these are really just on intelligence using business domain data. Now, for machine learning, that's the combination of IT and math and statistics. So these are very much hardcore technical work, which we normally leave to the experts. Now, the combination of all these three will form data science, which is the domain of how we use science to analyze data. And all these forms under the grand scheme of AI, artificial intelligence. So for this course, we are going to focus more on data analytics right here. Now I will walk you through a typical HR analytics journey that an organization goes through. So on the y-axis, you have value addedness, and the x-axis, you have analytics maturity. So typically, organizations start off at the bottom of both axes. Over here at the bottom left corner, we have organizations who primitively uses ad hoc HR measures. So for example, just basic tracking of employee salary, basic tracking of employees tenure. These are very ad hoc HR measures. The next, organizations tend to move on next towards benchmarking. So benchmarking would be when you compare with competitors outside. You find out what is the industry level or industry standard and use that as a standard. Next would be data systems and portals. So here's when organizations start to purchase systems, softwares, hardwares even to contain and store the data. And not just that, to be able to do some form of a reporting and some sort of an analysis. Next would be scorecards and drill downs. So this would be the use of charts. These would be the use of data. These would be the ability to do comparison, to do analysis, to do tracking within the organization. Now, notice that all these falls into descriptive analytics. It falls into the basic phase, which is very much the entry level of the analytics maturity. There's an invisible wall in the middle, which many organizations have yet to break through. For those who did, they would be in the higher end of the maturity level, moving towards the predictive and prescriptive analytics level. So once an organization breaks through this invisible barrier, this invisible wall, they would move on to do analysis like correlations. They will use statistics to find out what's the relationship between the data points, the information, and how do you identify and use that for prediction. Then organizations would also be able to drill down to root causes, would be able to use statistics to find out which variables or which item tends to have the highest impact on the organization. And with that, organizations can then forecast the ideal standard or the ideal outcome that the company needs using the data that they already have. And this will help organizations achieve optimization, ideal level of standards. That's the highest level of analytics maturity an organization can get, and also the highest level of value addedness to the company.